everyone, and welcome to another episode of DETAUX, Designers Talk UX. So, Michael Beirut once said, "Not everything is design, but design is about everything." So, do yourself a favor, be ready for anything. Today, we have Ananthakrishnan with us, who tinkered with wires in electrical engineering, but he found his love balancing brushstrokes and ergonomics, and is here to share his story with us. Hello, Ananth. Welcome to DETAUX. How are you doing today?
Hey, hi Atul. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
All good. Doing great till now.
All right. So good to have you here on DETAUX. It was lovely to know about your story moving from electrical engineering to UX design, product design, and whatnot. So go ahead. Can you tell us about your story? How did this happen?
Yeah. So since the beginning, from my childhood, I always had this thirst to create something on my own. So I always wanted to, either it might be a drawing character or even a paper toy. I always used to do something on my own and create it and have a story around it. That was the spark that I saw since my childhood, and yes, going forward, like a typical guy does in some part of India, I had to go through this rite of passage called engineering. So that's when I did 4 years of electrical and electronics engineering. That was quite a good journey where I learned the technical aspects of it and how things work internally and what's the background of every engineering device that we use.
So, what was the point when you realized this? Like, okay, you said that you had it in since as a kid, but then you said that you discovered an idea. But how did that discovery happen?
So discovery, as in, I always went about doing these sketches and concepts on. I would even explore some music, creating music on my keyboard. But I always had this question that I'm just doing these for leisure. How do I, how does this make some sense in my life? How do I make some sense out of it? So that's when I started researching about all these fields that cater to design and sketching and creativity. So that's how I got this opportunities like Seed, NID, and all those aspects. So that was sort of an entry for me to go in depth and learn about what are the possibilities that I can do and how can I learn. And there were institutes like which sensitizes you about design. So those were the aspects that I went into, and while I was doing my engineering, I also parallelly started a course in visual effects. So that sort of helped me, widen my thinking, and it served as a tool for me to express myself. Even though sketching was a great part of it, but also I parallelly learned about After Effects, Adobe Premiere Pro, video editing. So all these things were a very good amalgamation of my thoughts, and that helped me back in ID. So that was the moment that I knew that okay, this is where I belong. Like this is where things have to start. So that's how it was started there.
Okay. So your field of study was product design, right?
Yeah, product design.
So there's a lot of confusion that still exists, which is like, okay, what is product design? Then there's digital product design, then there's user experience design, right? I mean, your position at HCL is also senior industrial design.
Senior industrial. So it is technically senior industrial design, but I mostly work on both. I juggle between user experience, UI UX projects as well as industrial design projects. So it's more like I call myself as a product experience designer. So when I say product experience,
that's a new term now.
Yeah. So what I foresee right now, so even when I was in my masters at NID, so I started foreseeing that though we are getting, everything is getting into this digital platform these days. We're much more used to the digital platform, and also the physical products are also getting into this level where both the physical and the digital products are amalgamating into a single unified product. Everyone is looking forward to an experience rather than just the look of the product. So that is where I saw the sweet spot, and I started preparing myself chiseling out my career in such a way that I must be a designer who could cater to both the domains, and also it makes some sense for me to pursue design in terms of user experience. So as we know that design is a user centric one, so I wanted to put all my focus into user centric design, and user centric design consists of both user experience as well as UI. So in terms of physical product, the UI is nothing but the tangible one that you hold in hand and interact with it. In case of a digital one, it's about the screen that's more like an extension of your personality on the digital platform, and you interact, you talk with it. So that's when I thought, okay, why not go to a profession which kind of puts me in both the situations and solve problems in both the ways. So being at HCL, yes, I'm getting good opportunities to work on physical products like medical products as well. And parallelly, when it comes to the UI UX part, I'm getting to work on the UI and user experience and user interfaces of medical devices. So when we say medical devices, it's very, very critical to design each and every button, because it's I mean, someone's life is at stake there. Right. So that's also was a very good learning for me to work in both these fields, and yeah, so things have been really good, and it's a good learning that I see.
Great. So coming from product design to user experience design, I mean, interface design as well as experience design. Experience is of course part of both of them, product as well as interfaces. But what elements do you see that differentiate the two fields? I think you're the best one to talk about this, because you're working with both kind of products, digital as well as physical. So when you learn product design, industrial design, compared to now you're working with interfaces as well, what elements of design do you see that what is the difference between industrial design and interface design?
Okay. So when it comes to a physical product, I would say that the element would be more of the texture, the feel, and the response that the product that gives to you. So it's more like a part of your environment. So let's take an air purifier. So you don't do much with it, but more like you interact only to a certain limit. You either turn it on, turn it off, look at the stats, and that's where the border is. And you admire the product, and you can place it as a product that to show off in your house. But when it comes to a digital product that I see, it's more conversational in nature. You talk to it. So either be an app or a chatbot or any of that sort, you start a conversation with it. So and you constantly keep interacting with it when it comes to a digital product. You say you book book something on Amazon, and it responds to you in a certain way, like if your order is done or if your order is been cancelled, or there's some feedback and constant conversation that's going on. So this is where I see, like, the conversational element is something which is very much active in terms of a digital product, and kind of a little passive in terms of a physical product. So that is one of the major elements that I see. But in terms of engineering and design, yes, there are a lot of things we can keep talking about it. So just wanted to put it out there.
So I would agree and disagree. I think some people would agree or disagree to say that like physical products also talk to people. But okay, that's a conversation for another day. But I think this was very interesting that the texture and material is something that we don't think of. That's a differentiator in terms of the element of design. I think that would also change maybe in future with flexible displays coming in, which will maybe be able to replicate the texture of the material that or the button that you're trying to touch, right? So this might change in future, of course. But the field that you mentioned, electrical engineering, but did that help somewhere, or like everyone else, you changed your field and then that took a backseat?
No, I would say it did help, and it's still helping is what I would say. So when it comes to industrial design, when I take up projects on industrial design, definitely there are products which involve a lot of engineering within it. So until then, it's making my work very easy to understand what components sit or are packaged inside this enclosure, and how is it even relevant to each of these, and where should each of them to be placed, and for what reason, is something that my engineering is really helping me out. So even if I could take some time to go on YouTube and brush up my engineering, it really adds up to the work, and it makes my work easier, and also it makes my work smoother with the engineers who work back in, because there's less of a fight to agree and disagree when it comes to the execution of the project. So yeah, that is one interesting thing that engineering has always it didn't take a backseat. It really helped me work along with my design.
Great, great. So a lot of these questions actually come from a lot of learners who are moving from one domain to the other, thinking that does my previous domain knowledge or my previous experience would count a lot or not, right? So what would you say to these people who are thinking of moving to UX design? How does the previous experience usually help out in terms of design?
Okay. So one might come from art, literature, science, any field that we choose. I think design is all about telling a story and solving someone's problem through that story. So in order to tell that story, you might want to have this visual vocabulary, this vocabulary of science, this vocabulary of art. So according to me, this is my personal opinion again. So everything that we learn in our life has, if we are really good at design, we should be able to connect things from the past to the present and to the future. So that's how the connecting dots really help us in solving the problem the most right way, rather than thinking that okay, I have done something and maybe it's of no use. So I think everything is of great use in our life if we learn to connect things well. So not just engineering, but even art or anything. Even if you have learned music, that will definitely come in hand with user experience, because it all adds up to the experience that we want to create for the users. I think that's a connecting thing that everyone
Makes a
should.
lot of sense. I mean, always knowledge is not limited to a certain domain or that you're gonna work on, and that you're gonna forget everything that you learned during your schooling and college, right? Everything somewhere down the line it gets used in some project, and I think it works. It fits all well in the end.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, great. So I know that you're a mentor with Designers Academy as well.
Yeah.
So how has your experience been?
At designers, I would say my entire experience has been incredible till now. So I joined. It's almost going to be a year now. And when I started, the best learning that designer gave me was I with the first batch I just felt like I was just good with what I knew, but I wasn't really good at sharing my knowledge. So that is how designers helped me to share my knowledge in the right way. And the art of mentoring was something that I learned from designers, I would say. So it's easy to know something, and it's very difficult to communicate or make people understand of what we are trying to say. So that was, and I have had more than 3-4 batches till now, and the experience has been incredible. And most of my students have been placed, and it feels really happy when they come back and tell me that thank you for all this mentoring. We really got to know what we got a good job, and it's really eye opening for them to understand what design is and how can they apply it in the market. Yeah. So that's really cool.
So I'm really glad to hear that there is something for the mentors as well over in the
Yeah, absolutely. And I really love the environment first. I would like to add that it's not like an office. It's more like a friendly place where you come and have a handshake and then go and chill. It's more like you chill with your students. At the same time, you teach them. They teach you back. So there were situations when students have questions, and that is sort of a eye opener for us to learn more and come back and give them a best explanation. So that also satisfies us, and I mean it's not just one way; it's both the ways going. So that's one awesome thing that's happening in design.
Awesome. Thank you for the kind words. It was lovely having you here. Any last words from you?
I would say that as a common man or a common human, whoever we are, we should always strive to keep us motivated no matter what we do. So that kind of motivation is something where either we work in a job or do other things. Always we should have something of our own that we love to do, and we should start pursuing that side by side. Because what happens is any point of time there might be ups and downs in our life. So these kind of these kind of extra things that we do for our own interest would definitely help us go forward and learn more things. So that's something that I would want to share before.
What keeps Ananthakrishnan motivated on this?
So apart from my regular work that I do, I always find an escape by doing digital illustrations. So so what happens is, though we are good at solving problems, we are good at looking at the right problem. It's also essential for us to communicate the problem or communicate the solution in the right way. So sketching is something, or illustration is something where I go for an escape to illustrate and show what I feel. It's more like the artist side of me, which kind of again gets back to the artist side, and I come back to this. So some of the illustrations I do on Instagram, so I put it up on my Instagram pages, and when I look back, that kind of helps me to again, it gives me some kind of motivation to again do something more than what I did last time. So it keeps pushing me up there, and it's also to share with the community that always have something that you really are interested, and keep doing that side by side.
Awesome, Ananthakrishnan. It's just incredible how you balance engineering, design, and being an artist at the same time.
Thank you.
It was lovely having you here.
It's a pleasure for me, Atul.
Yeah. It's glad, and then we'll have more conversations like this with you.
Definitely. Glad to have you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So guys, that was it for today. We hope you liked the X2UX story. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section down below. If you'd like to see more videos, please consider subscribing. That's it. Bye-bye. Take care.